Hello, welcome to the 1 Year with the Ramchal series, and now we're going to talk about the portion of the week that is Jethro, or in Hebrew, Yitro. So I'm going to add up a few interesting ideas about the weekly portion. You still need to read it and attend the synagogue, listen to it. ויספר משה לחתנו את כל אשר עשה השם לפרעה ולמצרים על עדות לישראל, את כל התלאה אשר מצאתם בדרך ויצלם השם. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done into Pharaoh and to Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the travail that had came upon them by the way, and how God delivered them. Okay, so this section is begins with the Jethro heard. Okay, therefore, with his daughter and family, they embark on a long journey to meet Moses and the Jewish people. So, having heard from others, he decided to witness for himself and to be part and go for attend at the extraordinary metaphysical event that will take place on Mount Sinai shortly. So that is the giving of the Torah. So everyone basically is preparing for this occasion. So Jethro has already decided that influenced by all these miracles that occurred, he will convert to Judaism. So he will choose the Jewish faith, even though that he had big followers, as he was doing idol worshipping. He wanted to be part of this cosmic event that we're going to take place. So the Jews already witnessed this experience, several miracles along the way. When they left Egypt and all the plagues appeared, splitting the Red Sea, and also fighting with Amalek. So for Jethro, he heard and left all this that he believed behind, and he became part of the Jewish nation. ויספר משה לחתנו את כל אשר עשה השם לפרעה למצרים על עדות ישראל את כל התלאה אשר מצאת בדרך ויצלם השם. Okay, so this is the same portion, but it's always good that to repeat. We're going to take a note on that word, that hatla'a, okay, meaning trouble and hardship, and also having the same numerical value that emet, truth. So emet is aleph 1, mem 40, tav 400. So altogether 441. So interestingly, that they have the same numerical value, even though they are like contradictory statements. Emet, the truth, it is belonging to the holiness, and hatla'a represent the hardship and impurity. So the path to ultimate and eternal truth is not easy. It may be filled with many difficulties. However, we must persist and adhere to our spiritual belief through the journey. So that is our key to success. ויחד יתרו את כל הטובה אשר עשה השם בישראל אשר הצילו מיד מצרים. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which God had done to Israel, in that he had delivered them out of the hand of the Egyptians. In this sentence, we have the word vayachad, rejoice, and have a root. This word have a root of echad, one, unity. So Jethro heard after hearing what happened with the Jewish people, and basically Ariel was talking about it, how they defeated Amalek, how they left the Pharaoh, how the Red Sea was splitted. So Jethro decided to convert from idolatry to the monotheism. So it is something very crucial. And at that time he was very famous and well known. So he was one figure that all people heard, but he made an action after the heard, and all he regret all what he done his lifetime before. בחודש השלישי הצאת בבני ישראל מארץ מצרים, ביום הזה בואו מדבר סיני. In the 3rd month after the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came into the wilderness of Sinai. ויסעו מרפידים ויבואו מדבר סיני ויחנוכו מדבר ויחן שם ישראל נגד ההר. And when they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the wilderness of Sinai, they encamped in the wilderness, and there Israel encamped before the mount. So the Jewish people left Egypt in the month of Nisan, but it represents the attribute of Hesed, kindness. The following month is Iyar, corresponds to Gvura, that is for judgment, and that subsequent month is Sivan, represent Rachamim, mercy or grace. So mercy encompasses the preceding attributes of kindness and judgment, which is why the month of Sivan occurs under the sign of Gemini, symbolizing two opposing personalities, much like this duality of Chesed, generosity, and Gvura, judgment. So why did the Jewish people receive the Torah in this particular month? Why? What is the significance of that? The Torah is characterized by these triads, unity, as mentioned earlier. So we have the right, the left, and the central columns, resembling the structure of the two poles around which the Torah is wrapped. When unbound, the parchment remains in the center. So Moses brought the Torah, and within the family, he was also the 3rd-born child. The eldest was Miriam, by 5 years more mature than all the rest, and then Aaron follows, and then Moses. So there were 3 years between Aaron and Moses. Moses was the youngest one. And then ויסעו מרפידים ויבואו מדבר סיני ויחנו ממדבר ויחן שם ישראל נגד ההר. And when they departed from Rephidim, were come to the wilderness of Sinai, they encamped in the wilderness, and there Israel encamped before the mount. So within one sentence here we find also the singular and the plural form. First we have the plural, that is Vayachanu, encamped, and then Vayachan, encamped, singular. So it is why this discrepancy? What does it signify? So the plural form refers to the Jewish people as a collective one, while the singular form presents to the spiritual root of the Jewish nation. So the Jewish people truly coalesced into the nation when they left Egypt. So prior to that, they existed in a tribal levels, guided by the traditions of the patriarchs, and through Moses' guidance, they become a unified nation upon leaving Egypt. So the singular form reflects the spiritual roots of the Jewish people, and the encampment represents spiritual stations. So the mapping of the spiritual world to the physical one signifies that in our current narrative, the Jewish people have taken root and established their existence. This unity is crucial, ensuring strength and cohesion so that within the moment of the giving of the Torah arrives, they are ready to receive it in unity, both spiritually and physically. Division and discord are not wise counselors. Achievements cannot be reached in a state of disunity. So this unity that emerged within the Jewish people provided strength and energy to Moses. Okay. So also leaders need energy, as well. And then בחודש השלישי צאת בני ישראל מארץ מצרים, ביום הזה בואו במדבר סיני. In the 3rd month, after the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came into the wilderness of Sinai. ויסעו מרפידים ויבואו מדבר סיני, ויחנוכו ממדבר סיני, ויחן שם ישראל נגד ההר. And this is the same sentence. When they were departed from Rephidim, they were come to the wilderness of Sinai. They encamped in the wilderness, and there Israel encamped before the mount. So the Jewish people left Egypt, then entered to the Sinai desert. According to the Ramchal, Rashi says that the Jewish people left Egypt. We have always read that they left very quickly Egypt. This is later on what we can find in the Dvarim. לא תאכל עליו חמץ, 7 ימים תאכל עליו מצות לחם עוני, כי בחיפזון יצאת. מארץ מצרים, למען תזכור את יום צאתך מארץ מצרים כל ימי חייך. To eat no leavened bread within 7 days, to eat unleavened bread, therewith even the bread of affliction for its haste, did you come from out of the land of Egypt, that you mayest remember the day of came forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of your life. בחיפזון, okay, so very quickly left Egypt. So the miserable life endured by the generations in Egypt caused such a trauma to the Jewish people that their souls were not pure. They had to undergo multiple phases to become purified until the giving of the Torah. So this process had its own timeline. And one day, by no means, it is sufficient to arrive to cleanse it. So in the Sinai desert, they prepared for the events of the Mount Sinai. So that is the Matan Torah, the receiving the Torah. And also the Exodus from Egypt also represented the elevation from a low spiritual level. So this preparatory period of 7 weeks followed, progressing with each station. When they reached an appropriate spiritual level, Moses ascended the mountain. משה עלה אל אלוקים ויקרא עליו השם מנהר, לומר כה תאמר לבית יעקב ותיגד לבני ישראל. Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called into him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt you say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. The particularity of the verse lies, thus shalt you say to the house of Jacob. So how do we arrive at this point as simply to this Beit Yaakov? Okay, so Jacob, when he wrestled with the angel, he emerged victorious and received this name Israel. So by his own strength and merit, he overcame his negativity. So it was not only an angel, but also his negativity. And as a reward, he received a higher vibration and name Israel. So just as Jacob struggled and involved to attain this elevated state, the Jewish people also ascended to be worthy of receiving the Torah. So before this great moment that it is, before the giving of the Torah, Matan Torah, everyone enjoyed a good night's sleep. However, there was also a certain sense of fear. That's why it was very difficult to sleep also, but they could. The help of God. ויהיו ביום השלישי, בחיות הבוקר, יהיה קולות וברקים, וענן כבד על ההר, וקול שופר חזק מאוד, ויחרד כל העם אשר במחנה. And it came to pass on the third day, when it was morning, that there were thunders and lightnings and thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the horn exceeding loud, and all the people that were in the camp trembled. This is the point where the divine reveals its power. If it's desires to show chesed, then we can see one side, they could sleep. And in the other face that we could see is Gura, is judgment, accompanied by loud and thunder and these kind of effects. So we have both. We have this one, the chesed, and also the part of the Gura. So when a natural phenomenon like lightning occurs today, we also ponder our smallness, realizing how little we know about the reasons behind such events, unable to influence them. Furthermore, v'anan kaved ala hahar. So this is the words that it is used in this sentence, a thick cloud upon the mount. So the spiritual impact was so significant, even so extraordinary, that the entire process was surrounded by a cloud, a spiritual filter that did not allow the human eye to fully comprehend the action or process. Essentially, the Jewish people did what they were told, or their inner selves dictated to them after their souls were completely purified. The internal preparation was the 7-week period, and afterward they know everything they need to do correctly. It is interesting that though provoking that the cloud is described not as large, fluffy, or gentle, but specifically thick. Ve'anan kavod al har. means heavy, and its numerical value, kaved, okay, we have half, 20, bet 2, dalet 4 is the same as the tetragrammaton, the Yud K Vav K. ויחרד כל העם אשר במחנה. And all the people that were in a camp trembled. This is how the Jewish people woke up on that night, receiving the Torah. Afraid to leave, they were really afraid to leave their tent. So Moses, who understood what it needs to be done in such a situation, helped them in that case also. ויצא משה את העם לקראת האלוקים מן המחנה והתייצבו בתחתית ההר. And Moses brought for the people out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the neither part of the mount. We can observe like 5 signs of this divine judgment: sounds, light effects, thick cloud, the sound and of the shofar, and the burning fire on the mountain, the top of the mountain. So the divine is omnipresent, but during this time, the signs and effects were so defining, engaging our human senses, all of them. They linger out to the souls every day. So the Jewish souls were all represented at the giving this moment of the Matan Torah, and anyone born with the Jewish soul today will remember this always. So because it's belonging to the soul, remembers also, but the body it changed through many generations since that. But we all resonating to that of the Matan Torah action. Thank you for that. That was for this week of Jethro, and see you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.